Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday, and welcome to today's training webinar entitled Effective Management and Usage for Bloom's Literature. My name is Angel, and I will be your host today as I go over the main features and tools that you have available to you as an admin user of Bloom's Literature. So today is going to be just a bit interesting because the original thought was that we would have the current version, which is what you're seeing up on the screen here, the current version of the Infobase Admin portal, which is our brand new up and coming universal admin portal page for all admin users of all of our resources from Infobase. We thought we were going to have that completely fully up and running by now. So they have delayed the full launch just by a little bit because there are some to this version. So I'm going to start the webinar by showing you the tools in the upcoming or soon to be current Universal Admin Portal. And then for the last couple of minutes, I'm just going to switch over to the other version because I'm not sure if any of you are actually still using the version that we've had up until recently. Before the beta site was launched, we were using a completely different platform for our admin functionality. So I want to make sure that everybody is up to speed. I don't want to leave anybody out if some of you are still seeing the old page, which actually maybe all of you are at this point. But I'm going to start by showcasing the new admin portal, which is available to access for your access. If you type admin.infobase.com into your web browser and then enter your current credentials, your username and password for your account, you will actually arrive at this page. If you are connecting to the admin portal through Bloom's Literature and are arriving as an admin user through the drop-down menu on the home page, then you're probably still seeing the old page. So I wanted to start by clarifying that just in case anybody is confused looking at the screen going, holy cow, that doesn't look anything like what I'm used to seeing. So the plan is that I'm going to spend the bulk of the time going over this resource, or this version rather, and then at the end I'll spend about 5 minutes or so just making sure that everybody is up to speed on the version that we've had up until now, so that nobody feels, completely left out. All right, so we'll start again with the current upcoming version. And so what you're looking at here is actually going to be, or is, a universal admin portal, which means for those of you who subscribe to Bloom's Literature through Discus plus other resources, all of your accounts resources will appear in the same admin portal. So whether it's a streaming video resource, or it's a database like Bloom's Literature, or the ebook platform, all of your resources will show up on a single page. So there's no fumbling around and going to different locations. It's actually a long, definitely a much needed situation for us. We've up till now we've had different admin portals for different products, and it was kind of forcing people to go in a couple of different places. Although the database and the admin portal were kind of together. The database and the ebook admin portal were together. It was really just the streaming video version that was separate. So this one, you can see all of your resources from one page. Today we're just talking about Bloom's Literature. And I'm using the Discus admin portal page just so you all sort of feel, comfortable. We know where we are. We know what we're looking at here. And so the first thing, and I don't know if you notice if you're using this current version, the first thing you're probably going to want to do is click on the title of your database. So if I click on Bloom's Literature, it actually opens up an entire page, which essentially I can do everything right from this page. So there's lots of different ways to kind of get to different functionality. But it's all very intuitive, very comfortable. If you're used to using, different admin sites, you're probably going to have no trouble finding your way around. So by clicking on the title, Bloom's Literature, it takes me to a page that kind of opens me up to everything that I can do as an account admin. So here are these are just kind of like a window telling me what I have enabled right now. So according to this, I have 0 out of 5 possible authentication options enabled. We can view those. So it'll tell you exactly what you have, referring URLs, barcodes, and then I can send an email if something doesn't seem right or if something's not working. Here are my available integrations. So according to my Launchpad here, my summary page, I've got 3 integrations available out of a number of, I forget what the exact number was, 30 something, but I'll go back to that page. So here, this tells me everything that I have in my account. I've got my Google sign-in is right now it's turned off. I can easily turn that on if I want. My Google Classroom setting is turned on. My Microsoft sign-in is turned on. And then these are some additional options over here. Direct Google login means I can set up, I can set up a login where I never have to type in a username and password from my Infobase account. I can just go right in through Google, and then I can also allow the bypass merge. Now, that's probably something more for schools, but these are all some of the available options that we have. So back on our main page here, we've got our MARC records. We've got 1,000 new records available. I can go ahead and click view all and then download whichever MARC records I want. Here is my list of any files that I've downloaded previously, so I can always easily keep track of all of my MARC records. We've got a selection of usage boosters. We want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your account. I know a lot of times, and maybe not so much for you guys, but a lot of our school accounts, they'll subscribe to something and they just kind of get lost in the shuffle. Things, they have it, nobody knows it's there because there was not good communication as far as something that somebody subscribed to. One department really loved it, so they subscribed, and then the rest of the users, teachers and so on, don't know. So that's probably not an issue with you guys. I think most of the time you're going to subscribe to something and you're going to let everybody know that you have it. So in order to make that as easy as possible, we've included a selection of usage boosters for you. These include a nice sized icon, which you can change the size if you want to make it smaller. The search widget is also, you can adjust that to different sizes. So we want to make sure that people have sorry, those are just 2 different size icons. So we want to make sure that people have means to get into your products. And here's the search widget. These come in small, medium, and large, depending on the amount of space that you have on your web page. So you can simply copy the text here to your clipboard and then paste it into your HTML page of your website, and you're basically good to go. So I'm going to go back to the main page here just for a second. So all the things that we're looking at are also available on this main page here as well. So here I have my usage boosters, here I have my MARC records, and then some of the things that we are going to be looking at, like the authentication and integrations, or I should say some of the things that we've already looked at, are also available under this tab here. So it's up to you whether you want to click the name of the database and go right into this sort of main page here and see everything, or if you want to go in through that first page where you have all of your products listed out. So some options that we have, again, this is my page that I showed you earlier, where you can look at all the currently available authentication options. And if there's something here that you can do on your own, you'll see settings and radio buttons or what have you, check boxes that you can just kind of make the changes on your own. If there's something that you can't do on your own, which is the case with authentication options, we would have to actually help you out with those. So you can simply send us an email. You'll click this little email icon and it will open up an email that will send us kind of a heads up that you want to make some changes. So that's true of any of these various authentication options, whether we're talking about LTI integrations or proxy modifiers or IP addresses. You can simply send us a quick email and we'll go ahead and do what needs to be done behind the scenes to make sure that everything is working properly. You can also click up here. This is the general link that if you just want to open an email and maybe mention a couple of different things all at once, so you're not sending 17 different emails about all different things. So over here, we have some options as far as what you can see in the admin portal. So right now, if you had any expired subscriptions, let's say, you subscribe to Bloom's Literature through Discus, but you also used to have a couple of other databases or maybe a streaming video platform, but those have since expired. You can choose to see, and now that's not the case here, but if there were any expired accounts, you could choose to see them by simply clicking on the option to show it or hide it. So right now, the only account we have or the only product we have in this account is Bloom's Literature. So there's nothing else really to see. But if you had something else in addition to that that maybe has expired or lapsed, you can choose to see those as well. If you have any current trials going on, the point is that we wanted to make this something that you only had to go to one place to see everything that you have. So if you have trials in addition to your full subscriptions, you can simply choose to see those trials or hide them depending on what you'd like to do. Some people don't like the clutter of having everything on one page, like expired subscriptions or trials and everything. They kind of want to keep all of that stuff separate. So that's always an option for you. We really want this to be something that you feel comfortable with, something that when you go in here, you know exactly where things are located and you can find everything very easily. You can also, if you want, use this link here to open Bloom's Literature directly from this page. So if I click that, it's actually going to take me right into Bloom's Literature directly from that particular page. Now, of course, it's not going to log me in because I'm not at a location where I've set up automatic authentication or IP or anything. So because I'm here and not there, I have to actually sign in. But if you're doing that from your library, you've already got your IP authentication set up, or you're using some kind of an LMS or something like that, it's going to take you right into the database. So because I don't have that set up for this account, that won't work for me, but it would work for you if you've already set that up. All right, over here on the left-hand side of the screen are all of my universal tools. These are tools that are available to me no matter how many resources I subscribe to, no matter how many, if I have a bunch of databases, if I've got some trials, if I've got expired resources. All of that is irrelevant at this point because these are universal tools that will work with all resources that you have. So automatically when I go into the admin portal, I see my resources. That's going to be like a sort of a dashboard or a home page showing you everything that you have. The next option here is called institutions and users. So basically that's like the control center for adding new users to your account. So basically, if you have, let's say, a new employee that's come on board, or you want to maybe hide somebody's account, maybe they were there but they left, you can do all sorts of things right from this page. So the first tab is institutions. This is going to give me a kind of an overview of a bird's eye view of all of the institutions that have access to this resource through the main account. So in this case, we're looking at Discus, and these are all the accounts that have access to Bloom's Literature. I can go ahead and filter this. I can show only certain types of accounts. This is going to tell me how many users I have in each location, the number of active subscriptions that I have, and this will take me to the admin portal for each individual account. Now, this is obviously the top level account, but if, for example, you are at a university that has a number of different locations, maybe you've got a main campus, and that's sort of the top level account, and then you've got a number of suburban campuses or satellite locations throughout the area. Those are all going to appear under this umbrella. Very likely for those of you watching this webinar, you probably only have you, and that's fine. So basically, this is just going to show your one account, no big deal. But what you can do is come over here to users, and you can actually add new users that have come on board. Maybe you, like I said, you hired a new employee, or you've got a new location that just opened up and they have a staff. Maybe I know my my public library back home recently acquired a new branch. They actually, kind of took in a small branch in a neighboring town that was not part of the countywide system, and they came on board and they became one of the county or one of the branches of my home county library. So with that additional branch came an additional bunch of staff members, a new location, new IP information. So all of that information would have to be added. So similarly, if you're at a university and you build a new school, a new, satellite building or something like that, and you want them to have you want to add their IP information, or you want to add users from that in that location. All that is done here in the admin portal. So here I've got my user page. I can go in here and I can find individual users by specific roles. I can filter by either active and archived. Archived is what you do to someone who you can't, first of all, you do not have the ability to remove a user completely from the account. That's just something that has never been made available to admins at the site level. That's something that only we can do internally because you never know. Maybe you go in and start, playing around with the admin portal and accidentally remove an account that's of somebody who's live. They're still there. They have their, information. They've saved a whole bunch of favorite videos or articles or what have you, and you accidentally delete them, and they basically have to start from scratch all over again. So we don't allow that functionality at the site level or even at the admin top level admin level in this case, but that's something that you can request us to do, or the other option is to simply archive the user. And you can always see who here has been archived. And I can just scroll over here, and I can also filter by institution. So you maybe, it's probably hard to tell from this screen here, but these are actually links. I'm not sure why, it doesn't look more linky, if you will. It's not blue. That's just something that they decided to do this way in this case. So I can come in here, and this is the information for this particular user. This is the username. Now you notice I don't see a password. That's not something that anyone can access, like an admin or otherwise. So I'm not able to see other people's passwords, but I can see their username. I can change their role. Sometimes you have an individual that came on in a, for example, librarian role, but they need to be they need to have access to the admin functionality. So you can make them an admin from here, and this is how you would archive somebody who's no longer active. Maybe they've gone on sabbatical or leave, or they've been they left the position, or they are have been let go, if you will. You can simply archive them, and you can keep them in there archived forever if you want. But if it's bothersome, if you're like me, I'm kind of a type A, it would annoy me to have every single user that has ever had access to this account just stay there. And even though they can't access anything, basically archiving someone means that they will no longer have access to their account. So their information is still in the system. They still have all whatever saved content is still in there, but they don't have access to it. So you don't have to worry about them going on to other things and then still logging back into their original account and not having it. So the question we have from JJ, he or she wants to know, does this add them as an admin or simply as a user? If you're in the admin portal and you add a new user, you can effectively make them an admin right from here. For me, for example, let's say I have access to Bloom's Literature through the Discus account or Access, whatever. I go in, I create a user account. Let me just show you kind of how that works here, so that we have kind of a common sort of picture in our head. All right, so I don't have access here. Let's see. I'm just gonna. I can't remember my access here. Let's see. I think we have. I'm just gonna try to use the. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but we'll try it. Here we go. Okay, so I'm in Bloom's Literature. I go ahead and I create an account for myself. Here's my account. Let's say I didn't have one. I said, oh, I don't have an account. Let me go ahead and create one. That will not allow me to create an account with myself as an admin. I would actually have to be made an admin by another admin. So that kind of is it's a bit of a control feature. You just can't have people log in, make themselves admin, and make all kinds of crazy changes. Delete accounts, do all, generate all sorts of reports, and just have stuff sit in it, turn off people's access. An individual user cannot make themselves an admin. They can only basically create an account that will allow them to save content. However, if you've got someone in your institution who has an account already set up, and they want to become an admin, or they maybe changed position, or somebody left and you need an admin, you can go ahead and make somebody an admin right from here. So that's basically the institutions and user settings. You'll as you get more familiar with this, you'll figure out all the different things you can do. There's a lot you can do, and I'll just show you this now so that we don't get too far into it today. If you ever get stuck and you're like, holy cow, I have no idea what I'm doing, just click on that really cool looking question mark icon, and it's actually going to take you into the support center for the admin portal. So this is going to answer all of your questions, basic questions on using the admin portal, some tutorial videos and training webinars, any news updates that we've added, any articles that we particularly think are going to be especially helpful, and then you can actually have and this is kind of a cool new feature. I'm not really familiar with this as yet, but this is basically a community location here. You can essentially set up kind of like a chat room, and you can post different information about your account. This is limited to anyone who has access to your account. So it's pretty cool. You can actually go in here and chat with each other and post, notes and so on. That's actually something that we've never offered before. And if I'm not 100% sure, no one's told me this, but I suspect that, whoops, not sure what we have going on there. Let's see. I'm not sure what we're looking at there. So we have some general account settings. Let me see. There we go. Nope, that's not it. Let's see what's going on here. See if we can get to that next page. I think it was, yeah, it was just taking too long to load there for a second. Sorry about that. So the account settings are basically all of my account information. It's just general information, the name that I have displaying on my account page, the address of my location, and an admin can go in here and edit this information if there's anything that's not correct. Here's my sales rep. This may be, this might not be actually, I think it is yours. Everyone who's in here, I believe you have the same account rep. But anyway, so that's your representative. If you have any kind of questions related to sales, or if you wanted a free trial of something, that would be the person that you would contact. I'm not sure. I think that's the same for everybody here, but I don't want to assume that and then possibly be incorrect. Usage boosters. These are, again, another link to the boosters that we saw on the other page. So these are just generic kind of boosters. They can be, they can be related to any one of your products. In this case, we only have one, so that's Bloom's Literature. We've got our square icon, which we saw on the previous page. We've got our rectangular icon. So basically, if you had more than one subscription, you would see all of your usage boosters on this page. So they would be Bloom's Literature, and then if you had any other databases or any other any streaming video resources, they would all be displayed kind of scrolling down the screen, and you'd be able to pick and choose whichever ones that you want. So this one is the search widget. Again, this comes in small, medium, and large. Depending on how much room you have, if you wanted to put a really big splash on your web page, you can use the large size. It's pretty sizable though. It's pretty big. I mean, I think most of us probably would go with either the small or the medium, which takes up exactly the right amount of space. I kind of like the small icon, the small widget. I think that probably works best in most situations, especially if you do have many different products that you provide access to, whether they be from Infobase or from other companies. You probably are going to be squeezing a whole lot of those things onto a page, and I know it gets overwhelming for people after a while. They look at their their library page, they go, holy cow, we have a lot of stuff in here. We have access to a crazy number of resources. So a couple of additional little things here. If you're ever kind of anywhere in the admin portal and you want to get back to the main page, just click the Infobase Admin area up at the top left-hand corner, and that's going to take you back to your kind of like dashboard with all of your products listed out. So that's always there. You can just go back to that page, and then you can start clicking based on whatever you were interested in. So the last thing here is the usage reports, and that's available on this page here again. So if you are interested in generating any kind of usage reports, you can click right here on legacy reports. This is all of your saved reports. So if you have any already in there, you can find them either by date range, or you can generate new reports from here. And so you can basically click and type in any date range you want. If you want to do like a monthly report, and this is an upgrade from the previous version, which basically limited you to either a month by month, or I think it was quarterly and yearly. So those were kind of and actually, no, I don't think there was a quarterly. I think it was just month. And forgive me, I haven't done an admin portal webinar on the original admin portal in basically about 3 months, because they've been working on this new one. So if memory served, I know they had a monthly, and they had a calendar year and an academic year. So this allows you to generate a report from any date to any date. You can make it, as specific as just this past week. You can make it through the third, what are we in October now? So we just started the fourth quarter. You could do a quarter 3 report if you wanted to do it from July 1st to September 30th. You could do a monthly report of September. You can basically do that however you would like to do that. And then, you can save those reports. Essentially, there's a section here that will allow you to save your reports for as long as you want. If you wanted to keep them for forever and just kind of keep them and be able to refer back to them, you can do that at any time. All right, so that is the new admin portal, which many of you are probably seeing. I just want to make sure that nobody gets left out. Some of you may be seeing the previous version. If that's the case, this is also active. So if any of you are going into the admin portal through the product, through Bloom's Literature, you might be arriving here. And this will eventually go away. It'll cease to exist probably about in the next month or two. But just to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page and nobody's completely disoriented and saying, hey, I spent 27 minutes looking at that other admin portal and I don't even have it. I've never seen it. I can't get there. So just in case any of you this previous version, it has basically all the same tools with a couple of exceptions. It doesn't have some of the really neat new features that are available, but here I can run my usage reports. We are adding counter 5. I think that's one of the things that they wanted to make sure was in place before the full relaunch of the new site. So we're working on counter 5. I don't know how that's coming along, but here are my usage boosters, my search widgets, my icons, and it's not as the graphics are a little bit more basic in this page. That's really largely the difference. I mean, these have been this admin portal has been around for a while. Oops, let me make sure I'm not showing any login information here. So this page will allow you to add IP ranges and barcodes and update and change passwords, any information that you wanted to change in your account that you've had that kind of controls how people get in and out. So here are our account preferences. This is going to allow me to change things like the default citation format, default language. I can show or hide standards. So you guys most likely, you don't really need those. So you can just simply hide them if you want. If they think that it's already default, that they're hidden. Search results per page, you can change that to up to 100. And then here are my social account preferences. This was a new feature that we have added recently. So this is kind of an older version of that. This doesn't have all the different bells and whistles that are in it. But again, you can access the current admin portal by going to, let me close out the help center here, by going to admin.infobase.com and just logging in to your current account. So this is all available here. I just want to make sure that everybody knows, that this page has basically the same tools, but it just looks, a lot more of a kind of an older generation of appearance. And then here's my help center. It's going to have all of my articles in that section. So I think for the most part, I think almost all of you are probably here. I just wanted to again make sure I didn't leave anybody out in case you aren't here. But I would say if you're not using it, just go to that site, use your current login information. If you don't have it, you might want to give a shout out to whoever manages your overall account. That means locally, I'm talking about at your own, at your own institution, whoever kind of has, managing functionality or overall admin functionality, they can, send you the login information if that's something that you need. All right, so we had only a couple of questions along the way. I'll give you about 30 more seconds. If anybody has any additional questions, I hope today was helpful in kind of showing you, all the different things that you can do with your admin portal access. There are probably a few things that you'll find that you'll do more often than other, and so those things will start to become really familiar to you. And again, if you ever get stuck, just go ahead and click on that help link. I love that little bubbly looking question mark there, and that's going to take you into the support center, and hopefully all of your questions will be answered from there as well. All right, thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Angel, and hopefully everything will sort of fall into place as you become more and more familiar with the admin portal. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your I hope it's the way it is here. I'm actually in Georgia today, so it's about 90 degrees outside. I'm guessing it's probably the same there. But fall's just around the corner. The fall weather, at least, is just around the corner. So thanks all so much, everybody. Have a wonderful Thursday and a great rest of the week.